Welcome to the Black Agenda Network right here in Fresno, California, broadcasting right on the west side of Fresno, California. Say happy Kwanzaa to each and every one of you. We want to give a shout out to all of the freedom fighters across the world. I want to give a shout out to all of our ancestors who've paved the way, who paid the price. Those who was brought on those first ships called Jesus over here to the Caribbeans and to Brazil and to all of the Caribbean areas and then brought to America. Just want to acknowledge those ancestors that was on each one of those boats. Also want to give shout out to all of our freedom fighters that came before me. The Black Panther era, the Stokely Carmichael era, the Medgar Evers era, the Thurgood Marshall, Dr. King, Malcolm, all those men and women, Shirley Chisholm, Coretta King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and the list just goes on and on and on and on, that those who paid the price for us today. Sometimes my heart is saddened that we don't have many more people in the struggle, but I think those that are in the struggle are those who are supposed to be in the struggle. We just have to keep moving forward. One of the reasons why I created the Black Agenda Network, because it was something that was very important as needed, not just here for Mississippi, Fresno, but for around the country. You need to know what's going on here in Fresno, California, as well as California. You need to know what's going on in your area. We all know that we got a new president that's going to be installed, Donald Trump, on Dr. King's birthday. Kind of a hard pill to swallow, but I believe that Donald Trump presence is going to do, hopefully, for black folk, is bring us together more. So my grandma always taught me that, try to find a negative in a situation and find a positive in the situation. So the positive is I'm hoping and praying that we as a people will unite locally and across the country. This past Sunday, we had a beautiful time at Free AME Kwanzaa, which we celebrate Kwanzaa 365 days out the year. I get out of the tradition stuff for as waiting until, December and that time, but to really just celebrate it and practice the principles. It's important that we continue to do that. You can see behind me, I was able to create more information behind me, kind of like a timeline on some different things that has happened across the country and across the world. The banner of the Black Agenda Network has a lot of pictures in it, right? It's a lot of pictures in it. And from Emmett Till to Bull Corner, we told the fire department to shoot people down with water hoses, which is up there. Let me see if I can get something here to kind of point. This here is Emmett Emmett Till and his mother here, this picture here, if you can see it. He's laying in a casket. That's Emmett Till's mother. Now, Emmett Till's mother died before justice came to her son. But thank God that I believe there was a senator or someone in New York, if I'm correct, my memory serves me right, reopened the case and tried the last man that was alive. And he was convicted. This here, you see here, is the fire department here with their hats on, the gear on, shooting water hoses, water against our ancestors here. The pressure from the water hose cuts real bad. It will just cut your skin, right? This picture here is a white brother here who is, let me stand up, who has a canine dog. And there's a black one right here. You see, this is the dog. You might not can see it too good, but this is the canine dog. And he let the dog loose on there's an actual picture that shows, you can research it. There's a picture that actually shows the dog biting the flesh of our brother there. Bull Corner is the one that was behind all this. You see, this is our fist. The struggle will never stop. This is Dr. King here. I believe this is Reverend Abernathy here on this side here. Now on this side here we have the Black Panther Party here. Huey P. Newton had the right to, bear arms. We have a timeline here as well, which is very important, right? It's very important to have a timeline. Okay, and then over here we have the three strikes. There's a picture, I forgot his brother's name, but they whipped him so bad that his back turned into jello. We also have another picture here of a lynching of white men. And then we have another picture here of these police officers have their knee on a black brother's neck. And of course, this is Malcolm here, who was never educated by the European school system, but was one of the best speakers we ever had in our culture. Malcolm was a drug dealer, pimp, and all of that until he got into the Nation of Islam, and he changed his life. And then we have another timeline here. Now this timeline here goes from 1619 to 1865. Okay, so this is the first slave ship arrived in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. And you can see that the brother here, the picture has chains on his arm, chains on his feet. And then 1624, kidnapped Africans, brought to New Amsterdam for first time to work as slaves. Okay, so this is a total timeline. This is Sojourner Truth. Here, 1861, Civil War began when Confederates fired on Union forces at Fort Sumner, South Carolina. So basically, you know, this information is important. Now, what's interesting is when it comes to education, is that our children, do not, from the preschool all the way to high school, they don't get any real teaching of their real history. They're not even taught about Malcolm X at all. They're not taught about my brother over here, Marcus Garvey. They're not taught about any other history, supposedly other than Dr. King. And I think that's foul. But at the same time, we have to understand that we are the descendants of the slaves. We are the great, 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 great descendants of the slaves. And of course, they don't want us to know our history. That's why in Florida, the governor exiled and got rid of the Black history teaching in the public school system. It's important that we continue to teach our own history. Teach it to its pure form, right? We don't understand that whites had made sex forms. Sex forms are where there were breeding grounds for black people. Whites would take, let's say, a big brother, and the whites would find a sister. And just like you see dogs mate, they made black people mate like that. That's what we call sex forms, right? Because you, the property of your ancestor, was property. Just like you buy a car or you buy a house, you get a deed. That's the level of what our people had to endure. You could go from sex forms to our people being made to have sex and breed kids, to circus. I asked some people or some children one time about the circus. I don't patronize the circus. I don't patronize the zoo or anything like that. I think that they're slaves, just like we were slaves. I remember when I was younger, the circus used to come to Fresno. I guess it still does. I don't know. I haven't really seen it much, but they would have all these, like, and this is what we call capitalism. They would go and get these big old elephants. I mean, huge elephants, big, humongous. And they would get lions, and they would get tigers, and they would get all these different animals. And they would walk them down Ventura all the way to the Southern Arena, because the circus would transport from city to city on the train, and everybody would go out and get on the side of the road and look at all these elephants and animals who's been captured. They're slaves. These animals were slaves, okay? Just like black folks were slaves, all right? And they would make a spot for them outside. They would bring hay and water and whatever. And then when the entertainment came, they would, I always remember this one little man would have a whip, slap the ground. Sometimes he would hit the animal with it. And then here's this big old lion with long teeth and claws, all this, right? He's going to make this big old lion stand on his 2 feet, or he's going to make the elephant stand on their 2 feet. And as a kid, I thought it was really fun. I really did, until I came into consciousness as an adult that was cruel what they were doing. You capture these animals in their own habitat, and then you bring them to America, just like black folks did, captured us in Africa and dropped us off in the Caribbean, and then came to America and then worked us like we were animals, right? And so then I kind of, as I got older, I was thinking about it, right? And I remember a friend of mine was out there protesting against the circus. And at that time, I wasn't conscious. I was just living at the time. And so I started digging out what he was doing. His name was Elfie, I believe. He's passed away about 10 years ago. And he was doing a documentary on the treatment of these animals. And then everybody in Fresno would go and pay all their money to, watch this little man, pow, pow. And so when I finally became an adult and I started thinking about it, I started making the parallel understanding between slaves, black slaves, and the animals in the circus, right? And there was really no difference, because the circus was making money off of the animals. Slave owners was making money off our ancestors, right? So they were something else, because they said, look, we can make money off the slaves and we can make money off these animals. So let's take them to America, let's create a business, and that's what they, and it's the same way with the Fresno Zoo. Any zoo, right? And I'm not telling people to believe my ideology or my philosophy or my thought process, but you have to put it in perspective on, did these animals willingly wanted to come here? We have to really think about that, right? And so so called the human zoo, right? So we talk about animals in the zoo. First of all, let's go back. Let's talk about the humans that the animals were put in the circus. Then we're talking about Africans who were captured, just like the animals, brought to the shores of America for profit and to make money. Now, let's talk about the zoo now. We talked about the circus. Let's talk about the zoo now. Now, everything that I'm telling you, don't believe me. Me and Alan always tell you, my co-hosts, don't believe us. Go do the research yourself. So, to show you how dysfunctional the American, European, and Western school system is, they don't tell you the truth. They just tell you what you need to know so you can pass their test and they give you a diploma. They don't really care about any truth. This country is not about truth. It's about thievery. It's always been about thievery since day one. So I had a young man who I knew, and he had came to me and he said, Mr. Harris, he said, I got a permission slip, and I said, oh, by the way, he said, well, it's going to the zoo. I said, oh, okay. And I need you to sign it. I said, okay. So I put the paper down. I said, hey, before I sign this, I said, have you ever heard about the human zoo? And he said, human zoo, what's that? So I took out my laptop, like I always do, and I put it in front of him. And he was like, okay, so I said, just about, just look at the video. That's all I want you to do. He said, okay. So he looked at the video. So I'm in the living room, and I'm kind of watching him in the kitchen, and I'm looking at his facial expression, right? And I could tell it was bothering him. And the reason it was bothering him, because it was his people that was in the zoo, black people. So look up Human Zoo, and you will find out that black people, our ancestors were made, just like you go to the San Diego Zoo, whatever zoo in your city, Fresno Cafe Zoo, those were black people behind there. There were black people, our ancestors, was behind the wall. Our women, they were big boned, big behind. They were walking around naked. And you had these white men that was walking around, probably getting horny and all this other stuff they were doing and whatever they doing in their pants. And it was just horrific to see how us, black people, have been treated in this country. And at the same time, us being treated in this country is just the most profound, barbaric of what we have had to go through in this country. Now, that young man went to school, and his teacher, may he rest in peace, he passed away. My young man started questioning him. He says, teacher, have you ever heard about the human zoo? Now, this brother has a master's, a bachelor's. He's probably getting paid over $100-some thousand a year, right? And he's asking him a question. Not a hard question. He said, well, have you ever, I know we're supposed to be going to the zoo, but have you ever heard of the human zoo? And the teacher said, no, I haven't heard of the human zoo before. So he educated his teacher, who had a bachelor's and a master's, or maybe a doctorate, I don't know. But I knew he had a master's and a bachelor's. He said, well, look at this here. And so when the teacher finished looking at the documentary, this is a black man on top of this, right? My young man is talking to another black man who was a teacher, a professor, or whatever. And he says, I have never heard of a human zoo in my life. So this black teacher goes through all this education, through their colleges, through their whatever, and he comes back to a kid that's in the 8th grade, and he said, I've never heard of this before. So the student, the young man that I talked to about, he said, I'm not going. He said, this is totally wrong. Totally wrong. That black people were made to put in a zoo, and people come by and walking and looking at them and getting horny and all this other stuff, masturbating and all this other stuff. And he said it's wrong. And he said, I'm not going. Now, I didn't tell the young man to go or not to go. All I did was educated him in regards to truth. People don't want to hear truth. That's the problem in America. People don't want to hear truth. And the truth is that on every level in this country, we have been demonized, humiliated, slaves, all of this. And people have made money off of us, right? So, look up the Human Zoo. And maybe next time we come on the show, you'll be able to talk to me or send me some questions about that and what you have read, right? And then, we started talking about the Ku Klux Klan. Well, the reality is the Ku Klux Klan is still here. They're still here. They haven't went anywhere. They're just taking off the white sheets and putting on blue uniforms, basically. Took off the white sheets and put on judge robes. And it's sad because after all that we have endured as black people, slaves, second-class citizens, being whipped and murdered, hung and lynched, our women to be raped. A lot of that stuff, that pain and hurt has been passed down to us today. And it's one of the reasons why it's hard for us to work together as a people. Because we have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, had, as Malcolm X said. And we have to do all we can right now to try to keep moving forward in this country. Because everything we have built as black people, our ancestors, everything we have built has been destroyed by white folk. That's just a fact. That has nothing to do with me putting 10s and 20s on it. Anything that you build, you're going to have to protect it. Black Wall Street was destroyed. We had over 30 towns that were destroyed by the U.S. government and the Ku Klux Klan. We have many black cities that were flooded out. Right now in Georgia, and I'm going to look this up. That's why I need a TV up here so I can kind of walk you all through this, right? Because you're not going to get this type of education in a public school system setting. Kanye, who spoke here Sunday, he would tell me all the time, he would say, you know what, Harris, he said, what's really bothersome to me is that, you know, I teach black studies here at City College. He's retired now. And he said, but when the children get here, they've been going to school for 12 years, let's say preschool, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. Now you go to City College. So now you're a freshman. He told me, he said, man, when these black students come into my class, he said, they don't know nothing about who they are, them individually. They don't know nothing about their ancestors. They don't know nothing about any black history other than Dr. King, and that's it. 12 years as taxpayers we pay for you to just go to City College and know the name of Dr. King. You already know Dr. King, you just know the name, because in their textbooks, they're just going to show you just little 30, 40 men in a cartoon with chains on their neck. That's all they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk to you about Jim Crow like I'm going to talk to you about it. And Kanye talk about it. They're not going to talk to you about black codes. They're not going to talk to you about any of that. They're not going to talk to you about the Ku Klux Klan. They're not going to talk to you about they're not going to talk to you about redlining. See, all this stuff was put into policy of this U.S. government. You might have heard that it was illegal for blacks to read at one point in time in this country. And that's true. You would get whipped, murdered, beat up if black folks was caught reading. Now, you have to understand that, and I'm going to do the research, and I'm going to get with Kanye because he wants, we put our heads together. But I would like to know, because see, what you don't know is that many of those ships that sailed to America, to the Caribbean, dropped off slaves and they got paid. A lot of those ships were insured by banks. We were just cargo, man. Just cargo. Now, understand that we're going to do some more research, and you're going to help me do it. I'm not going to do it all myself. I would like to know, and I think we did, I think it was TJ who I wish he was on right now, TJ, because he's good at looking up stuff right on the spot. But I would like to know what year that the red, white, and blue flag of America was actually finalized and said, this is our flag for this country. The red, white, and blue. I'd like to know what year that was. And if you can find that real quick and send it to me, I would really, really appreciate it. Right. But if not, I'll let you know next week. A lot of those ships was insured. The ships that didn't make it to America, they were paying off like insurance companies. You know, and so it's like, then Uncle George and, you know, Brother Jefferson and all these people, you know, they had their own, they never intended on black people being treated with dignity and respect. Listen, when they made the U.S. Constitution, it wasn't for us. I mean, it was for us to say that we catch you reading, we're going to whip you. We catch you doing this, you're going to get that. But George Washington and all of them never, ever expected for us to be citizens. We were their cargo. We were their property. We were their, you know, if you watch Django and all these different shows, you will see what I'm telling you is truth. And so this is why, you know, we created this platform for those to come on. Oh, thank you, sister. I need you to come on our show, too. I've been trying to reach you. I thought I sent you my number today. But pray about it. See if you want to come on the show. 1777 is when the United States flag was established. 1777. Thank you so much, my sister. 1777. Also, I love that post you put up about your son. I didn't type anything, but I just want you to know I really love that, and I really appreciate you as a mom pushing that. When I seen that, it really touched my heart, and all I could do is just be like, wow, this is a true sister who's really, you know, gets it. And so, love your son, hope to meet him one day. But 1777 is when this red, white, and blue snake flag that they call United States flag, and it was established. So from 1777 to I believe it was 63 when King Johnson signed that word. Before 63, I think it was 63. 63 or 64, one of them. Black people, we couldn't vote, man. And the thing is, that's not long ago. From 1777, let's say to 1962, we could not vote. White women, as me and Aline had to show a couple of weeks ago, was able to vote before black people. Hold on, I gotta get my course because this is getting good. And I put it over here. stepping off the scene real quick, but you know, this is how we're going to learn. Okay? We got to use technology to our benefit, right? The enemy used technology for their benefit. We have to use technology for our benefit. All right? So thank y'all for, I apologize for stepping off. I usually don't do that, but my computer was getting low on juice, and I didn't want to cut off. So, what I'm trying to get everybody to understand here is that 1777, man, that's long ago. Here it is, Black Wall Street was destroyed in 1921. We still didn't have the right to vote. In 1921, King was born in 1929. So King missed Black Wall Street by 8 years. So when King was born in 1929, he missed all that. 1921, he wasn't even thought of at the time. But during 1921, black people were self-sufficient. We were what? Independent. We were what? We relied on each other, our unity and us coming together as a people. That's the power we had, right? Do we still have that power today? King, Lord bless it. Different leaders get different orders from the Creator. So it's not for me to question anything that Dr. King did. But I do have a right for my opinion. If 1921 came, and we fought in every war, and we was the best at it, and we still didn't have a right to vote. But yet, our towns were just over 30 towns that were built by black people to be handed down to us. They're all destroyed. Burnt down, looted, shot on sight, just straight up murder. Over 30 towns. They're not going to talk about the ones that were looted. There are towns that our people built. Right now in Georgia is up under a big old lake. Under a lake right now. Just released all the water to cover up the whole town. But we still here. So when I hear people talk about pull yourself up from your bootstraps, I really get offended with that. I really get offended when I hear somebody say, pull yourself up from your bootstraps. After all the hell that my ancestors went through, you have the audacity to tell me, us, the children of the slave, to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps when you went and intentionally destroyed what our ancestors made to pass down to our generation so that we could pass it down to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. And then you come in here with your dysfunctional European school system, putting lies. If that wasn't good, you make this flag that was flying everywhere doing slavery. Then you turn around and come up with this Pledge of Allegiance. Can somebody find out for me, when was the Pledge of Allegiance established? What year was it in 1777 or before? Or did it come after that? I would really like to know this Pledge of Allegiance. And then I'd like to know who came up with the words of the Pledge of Allegiance. Their Pledge of Allegiance. There ain't no pledge of me. I don't do Pledge of Allegiance, okay? Because it's nothing but a bunch of damn lies. All right? That's all it is. There ain't no one nation under God and liberty just one. There ain't no liberty. There ain't no justice for all. So I would like to know, this Pledge of Allegiance, what year was that released and established? Because I'm going to tell you something. Man, these cats are so cold with the education system. You send your kid to preschool, they already indoctrinating them in preschool. Some of them already indoctrinating the mother while the child is in their stomach. I mean, this whole agenda, you know, that's why I created the Freedom School. So that our children can have a place to come and feel safe. That the parents know they're safe. Someone wrote something. I think the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me line this up. The 1940s. Yeah. Thank you, my sister, 1940s. But I got to do, like I said, I got to do some in-depth research on that. But I would like to know who came up with these words. I mean, it's just, when I go to the school system, we go to the football game. Listen, I was telling Kaini today, we talked today, and I told Kaini, I said, you know, Kaini, I said, you know, when my son was over at Central West, you know, he was one of the top cheerleaders in the nation and probably the top in California. You know, I told him that's when Black Lives Matter. I'm the founder of Black Lives Matter in Fresno. I'm the founder of it. Okay? We mobilize the people, all right, and the organizations. Fresno Brown Berets, all of us, okay? All that stuff that came after all that, people trying to get all this, whatever. The bottom line is, I told Kaini today, I said, Kaini, I said, when I went to the football game, and they started playing that raggedy national anthem song, I took a knee. He said, brother, you did what? I said, I took a knee and put my fist up in the air. And I was daring somebody to say something. Because there wasn't going to be no football game that night. There was going to be some table turning in the bleachers. Because, see, part of the problem we have, look, you see this? Let me stop. See this here? That's the Black Panther Party. We don't have men like that anymore. I ain't gonna say we don't have men, but it's very slim that we have men like that anymore. But I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. Death don't scare me. Our little black boys need to see strong black men. Our little black boys need to see revolutionary men. Our little black girls, our little sisters, our little queens, they need to see revolutionary men. So when we start like just really dissecting all of this, okay, it'll make your stomach upset. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a theory. You might say, this dude is crazy. And it's okay if you think I'm crazy. But one thing I know, The shoes that I put on every day. The belt that I have to put around my pants. My dreadlocks that I wear. Just my presence bothers people, especially white folks. Not all, but a whole lot of them. Why? Because I know who I am. I know my culture, my ancestors. See, when you have to understand that, and I'm going to go through this timeline to next week on my left side, because it's I can't see that, I don't have my glasses. But I believe it said in 1619, the first ship arrived in Jamestown, Virginia. 1619. So you have to understand that when our ancestors were captured, they were from different tribes. I mean, they didn't all come from one neighborhood. We didn't speak this American language. We had to learn this language. And that's one of the things that Kayinde said, that our women, our ancestors, were so smart that they brought food with them from the motherland. They were able to put okra, different types of food in their hair to hide it. But 1619, got to America. And all these tribes on this boat, pretty sure they all speak the same language. But when we got here to America, they changed our names, stole our religion, broke us, our spirits, murdered us, murdered the men, murdered the women. That's why I told you all to go and buy that book, Without Sanction, because then you will see and understand about the lynchings that went on here in America. So family, I'm about at the end of my show. I can talk for hours, but I'm not. I just want to close with this. This past Sunday, I was so happy to see all the new faces and people who came out and listened to the lecture of Aline and Kayinde. And then ate afterwards. It was just a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. But if you do not invest time, I don't care how much money you make, how much you don't make. I don't give a darn about your title on your door. None of that makes. If that would make you happy, fine. But I'm going to leave this with you tonight. We're in a new year now. Looking over the news, I've seen all these people die right there in New Orleans. Some ISIS dude just ran over people, whatever. None of us are safe. None of us are safe. Especially when you're conscious. You're not safe at all. And so you're going to have to learn how to protect yourself. Protect your family. Because they're going to come after us. The question is when. I'm going to ask you guys this. Please change your diet eating, okay? Please do that. Black men, go get your prostate checked out. Okay, get off the pride stuff, okay? Your life is more important, all right? Go get yourself your prostate checked. We got too many men dying of prostate cancer. Go get your blood work did, man. Woman. So, here at Free AME, look, we had a food giveaway today, okay? We had a food giveaway today. Thank God for all my men and the women who was out there helping today. Listen, I love them because it gave me time to do something else. But you want to know what I had time to do? The garden was right there. Those weeds was growing. Soon as I got here, I jumped out my car, I grabbed my garden tools, and I went to chopping weeds. Chopping weeds. Cultivating. Everybody was out there in the line looking at me. Like, what is he doing? My man was holding when was holding the food giveaway down. I'm over here doing this because I understand that I'm not going to allow the enemy to feed me. I'm going to feed myself and my community. And so I'm out here chopping weeds. Leading by example. Lead, man. Lead, black man. Lead, black woman. We all have a purpose here on this life, this earth right now. But change your diet. I juice a lot now. And a lot of people have seen the results of me. I'm trying. I ain't saying I'm 100% every day, but I'm further along than what I used to be. I had a gym right here. Black man, black woman, brown folk. Utilize it. Just quit eating all this fried food and all this stuff. Change your diet. When the weather gets better, I'm going to be walking my, listen, I'll tell you my route right now. I'll walk down Huntington from First to Cedar 1 mile, from Cedar to First. I do 2 miles, I do 6 miles a week. Why? Because I love me. I love me. You can't walk for me. I can't walk for you. We can walk together. But we got to get out of this separatism stuff and start caring for one another. See what I'm saying? When winter's over and this crop dies out, we got collard green, mustard greens, we got Napa cabbage, purple cabbage, we got broccoli, all that right here. And then when this die out, then we're going to come in with the winter, summer crop. Tomatoes, watermelons, bell peppers, red bell peppers, hot peppers, green peppers, eggplants, all that. But black man, go get your prostate checked out. Please. Do it for me. Do it for yourself. Do it for me. I did that procedure already. I was scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was scared going in there to do that procedure because colonoscopy. Yeah, okay, I did it. Black woman, black man, go do it. Love yourself first before you love anybody else. This is Dr. Harris. Love you guys. I hope I said something that was inspiration to you tonight. Happy Kwanzaa. Get your Kwanzaa set, put it in your home. Practice this 365 days a year. Get away from that Christmas tree, them Christmas lights, that dead tree and all that, because they ain't doing nothing for us. They had nothing to do with us. It's another white supremacy tactic. I'm teaching truth. Truth shall set you free. Get away from Rudolph. Get away from the snowman. Get away from Santa Claus and Miss Santa Claus. All that has nothing to do with black folks. And I know it hurts. I know it hurts. I know it hurts for me to say that to you. I know you probably don't like me no more, but it's okay. But I still love you because I'm going to tell you the truth. Kwanzaa, you can do this 365 days a year. But if you just got to do the Santa Claus stuff, I mean, if it's just in your spirit, you just can't get rid of it, black folk, then go get you a black Santa, okay? Go get a black one, please. Don't poison our children for them to think that you better not cry. Santa Claus is coming to town. Look, don't do that. Let me tell you what that's like, and I'm gonna go because I'm getting started. Okay, so I show it from 6 to 7. Right? So I'm trying to stay in the time frame. But let me tell you what the Santa Claus stuff is doing. It's already white supremacy. Start off. They bamboozled your children in preschool. They're making your children sing Christmas carol, Jingle Bell, and all that stuff. And that Jingle Bell song, which I just came into consciousness about the Jingle Bell song, I ain't gonna lie, I used to sing it, even as an adult, I used to sing it. But I didn't really understand until lately that song is connected to slavery of our ancestors with a big old metal thing around their neck and two bars going up with bells on it. So when that slave tried to escape and run, the bells are ringing like this, and they would jump on the sled and go after our brother or sister. That's what Jingle Bell means, man. But listen, stop letting them indoctrinate their children in preschool. Stop them teaching them to sing Jingle Bell. There ain't no Santa Claus. But if you just got to do the Santa Claus, go get a black Santa Claus. And I know that some of y'all say, oh, he racist. Call me whatever you want to call me. Doesn't matter to me, okay? It's my job to teach my people, my children, our sisters, our brothers, and our women. For you to take your child, to take a picture with a white man in a red suit. Listen to me. It's like you waking up in the morning, getting a bowl of cereal, and tell your child to go to the table and sit down, and I'm going to bring you some. Now, your son and daughter is trusting you now. You their parent. Follow me for a second. And you make them some cereal, pour some milk in it, but reach up under the cabinet and grab some decon and pour it in his cereal and stir it up and then hand it to him and say, good morning. Well, it's the same way with this Santa Claus crap. You're poisoning your children. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stick to this. Look, right here, it says Kwanzaa in 1966 was established. Kwanzaa. For us. For our village. First fruits. Look, I gotta go, because I'm getting fired up. And man, I'm ready to go. All I need is an organ right now. I'm ready to go. All right, my sister, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all that research you did for me. I appreciate that. Brother Robert, thank you, Brother Robert, for tuning in. My brother, I love that brother right there. He's a true soldier. And like I said, if y'all want to come on the show, let me know. I also have my own show called Dr. Harris, Black Lives Matter Show. And this here, me and Aline created the Black Agenda Network. We're here every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Hey, this show is yours. Call us, inbox me. Sister, give me a call, please. I'd like to speak with you about a few things. And hey, what that mean?